All right, what's good? What's good? What's good? YouTube Live. Hope you're doing well. Excited to be here. We got Tony in the building, Willie, Joseph. What's going on, guys? Hope that you are all doing fantastic. We are getting this started now. Um, Hope that you've had a great weekend and are excited for a brand new week in the markets. Just getting these last minute messages out to have everybody plug in. That way we can get started with today's weekly market outlook. So yeah, man, we are here mid-August already. All right, cool. Let's get it. Let's get it. So guys, first and foremost, as we get started, looking at the fundamentals for the week, we have CPI on Tuesday. We have PPI unemployment claims on Thursday. And then we have some more high impact stuff on Friday. So we are going to have a decent amount of high impact news throughout the week. Nothing super substantial though, like a FOMC or NFP or anything like that. But CPI, I think would definitely be something to be paying attention to, as well as unemployment claims on Thursday. So Tuesday, Thursday so far are going to be the main days to pay attention for the fundamentals. For Monday, we don't really have anything that stands out to me that, you know, catches my attention. All right. So fundamentals are pretty straightforward for the week. We've had three back-to-back-to-back bullish days on Nasdaq to recover from that steep drop-off that we had the week prior after FOMC. So price has recovered basically back almost to all-time highs again. So we will be talking about that mainly. All right. Albert, what's up, man? Hope you're doing great. All right, cool, man. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Just looking at the daily time frames. We are definitely pushing bullish once again. Once we had that steep drop off from FOMC, I thought, that may be a catalyst to end up kind of seeing some more long-term bearish price action, maybe to come and rebalance some of this daily fair value gap stuff that was going on from back in June. But we are not ready for that apparently. After our drop off, we've basically made a full recovery back to almost where we started at previous all-time highs. So that is definitely something to note. And I think that, seeing how we've come very aggressively back to these levels, we'll probably end up seeing that breakthrough, maybe even to start the week, quite honestly. So yeah, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on 23,735. We'll probably be seeing 23,800. And honestly, depending on the type of momentum we come into the week, we probably will even see 24K. 24K will definitely be a number from like a psychological perspective that we can see the market reach for. So I'll go ahead and mark that level up here. Um, I've mentioned before for the people that are part of the private mentorship through Akashex that whenever we start hovering into all-time high territory, I like to really lean on psychological whole numbers as basically extension levels of where we can expect price to reach for, and then see how we react off of them. Obviously when we have these drop-offs in price, we have a lot more, historical data to kind of make some decisions for our trading around. But once you start heading into all-time highs again, there's really nothing on the left side of the market for us to, use as a reference because we've never really been there before. So again, anytime we start heading into psychological, or I'm sorry, all-time high levels, I will lean towards psychological whole numbers as targets to continue seeing price move. And then as we have retracements and all that, those will be areas to buy again and take us to new all-time highs. So that's really kind of a very simple longer term idea. Is very simply put, we have no signs of anything except bullish price action for now. So if the market wants to open up a bit bearish to start off the week, I invite that. So we be able to position ourselves, as low as possible to just basically take out previous all-time high and then start making our way to 24,000. That's definitely my mindset for now, based around NAS. And then eventually, once we start to make our way past this previous high here and we start getting maybe closer to that 24K, then I usually like to short all-time high levels and just try to catch, moves like this one basically, that kind of rebalance any type of, pushes that we get. So that will be further down the line. For now, I would definitely just kind of stay with the momentum, stay with the trend that we're seeing right now, which is bullish. So pretty simple market read today. Market for Nasdaq will open in the next about 3 hours. So, anything could really happen at market open, and then we're gonna have to, you know, um, reevaluate some of the thoughts that we have based off of the information we get to start the week. But I don't think we'll get anything that uh will be surprising. So yeah, man, pretty straightforward. We're gonna be looking at buys for NAS overall. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, anything you guys want me to cover specifically today, you can definitely drop them in the chat. A lot of my people are out in Tulum right now for a company getaway trip type of thing. I was planning to be in Tulum this weekend. I ended up not doing it, just from moving to Miami and just having a lot going on. It was my wife's birthday the other day, so we just decided to stay put. But we have some really cool events coming up, like Rome, Atlanta. So looking forward to being at those type of events and seeing you guys there for those who are a part of Akashex. And if you're not a part of Akashex, guys, I think now is the best time to get involved. We have a lot of great promos and whatnot for people to get started with capital up front and really just access to my, daily market analysis and live sessions and all of that. Sunday market outlooks are pretty much, what they sound like, just kind of preparing for the week, getting people in the right state of mind with the right expectations, and just kind of getting a head start on the week, so that we don't get caught on our heels tomorrow trying to figure out what we're going to trade. All right. So, yeah, pretty simple market outlook today, guys. In the news of other things like cryptos, obviously we've had a lot more eyes on crypto lately. We had a nice recovery last week on things like Bitcoin, which obviously will trickle into other things. We can see Ethereum making very strong pushes right now as well. So I've kind of been in a position where I'm waiting to get into more crypto plays. As far as like new positions, I've already had some positions for quite some time, but uh, yeah, I'm not really too interested in buying XRP, Bitcoin, or ETH towards its high levels. Really looking for price to drop more on those. So yeah, not really much to talk about. My Peloton play has been doing well as of late. This was a play I gave out months ago, entering at around $3.50. So we're up over, 100% on this investment right now on Peloton. And, my long-term views on Peloton were getting way past, $18. And even really my long-term ideas were getting us into that 55 to 80 range. So that would be a really nice return for me, obviously, if we look at, a $3.50 entry price. Even all the way to 50 is way more than a 10x, and that's why I had decided to get into this play. a good while back. We got a really nice last weekly candle closure. The month ends obviously in 19 days. So what I would really want to see is over the next 2 weeks for us to continue closing very strong bullish candles. Because if we can close a really strong monthly candle on Peloton, then I think we have a lot of potential to at minimum break back above that $11 range. And that'll be putting me up over, you know, 300% almost at that point. So yeah, that's just been a play on the back burner there for quite some time. So yeah, man, everything's kind of like smooth waters and just kind of chill right now. But yeah, at some point, by the way, long term for Nasdaq, when we had that really strong liquidity sweep of the markets, back in April, we really had like on the higher time frames, like the monthly and the weekly, very clear signs of that market manipulation to the downside that we have not really seen get revisited, obviously, yet. I think at some point it's very possible for us to, kind of get back down to those levels where we saw that market manipulation, but that would definitely take a lot of negative news for us to even, get back down there. Tariff talks again, World War III talks, something like that for us to really get back there. So that's just something I'm really looking for in the long run. Um, but for now, things are definitely still very bullish. Again, we closed last week's candle very, very bullish. After what I thought was going to be the start of like a nice retracement, but price did not want to continue dropping off. All right, let's check the chat here. Yo, see you in Atlanta. Okay, okay, let's go. Can't be in Rome. Can we enter Peloton now? What was the low targets for Nas? So for Peloton, again, like, I tell people where I got in at, right? And I got in at 350. So getting in at 350, it's a way different place than getting in at 784. At the end of the day, like my thought process is that I expect Peloton to get back into the 50 plus range. So even if you get in at 7, technically, if I'm correct on this, then obviously you'd be making some money there. I mean, if we look at it from like 7 to 50, well, technically we're closer to 8. So 50, we look at 6x. So whatever money you put in there, it's a potential 6x from 784 to like these levels. Which honestly, look, 6x is great, but 6x is much different than like, for example, from 50, uh, getting to 50 from 350, that's a 14x. So the difference of getting from 350 to 780 is a big difference as far as like the return potential. And I came in with the mentality of like, hey, Peloton was a stock that basically died. And those are high risk plays, like you're betting on a company to make a recovery from basically almost being extinct, right? So whenever you have that, you're gonna have higher reward potential, but you have a higher risk potential. So I got into that stock you know, with a four-figure investment, and it was something I was willing to lose. But I was willing to lose it because of the 14x potential. And the idea was, hey, I'm not even really trying to get the company back to all-time highs or anything like that. I'm just looking for it to be like 25 to 30% of what it used to be. Because I think from 350 back up to like $50 basically was like, again, a really nice gain. But basically from all-time highs of 170 all the way to 50, that was a drop off at that point of 70%. So I'm really just trying to, regain the company again to being like less than half of what it used to be, basically, you know? Like from its absolute lows, if we can eat, like this is obviously a full recovery. If we can get even halfway, that would be like a great return for me. So that was my idea. So at the end of the day, like I don't, especially with stocks like that are companies that have basically died and have been on life support. uh, that's something you got to consider is like, hey, I'm willing to lose all my money on this. That all the money you put into that, right? So if you think risking, your investment, I think that's the way I'm treating it, right? So if you're willing to risk an investment to make a 6x, then hey, do your thing. The targets on NAS, well, I mean, to be honest, I'm not really focused on bearish targets at all right now, to be quite honest. At first when we first got that drop off and we started kind of, seeing these mid recoveries here, I thought that, I would get back down to liquidity levels down here at around like 22,600. But I mean, that's very far removed from where we're at now. So at the end of the day, like liquidity targets are just basically going to be always old highs or old lows. So if we had bearish ideas, then we'd be looking at these lows, these lows, these lows, these lows, right? When we're looking at bullish liquidity, we're looking or buy side liquidity, we're looking at the previous all-time high. That's the only other liquidity that we have on the high side. So for me, I'm looking at potentially the market, stalling out or sitting somewhere around here to eventually go and take out that high. And then once we take that high, now we're in like uncharted territory again because we have no liquidity left. So at that point, we're gonna have to just rely on psychological levels and allowing price to just form new liquidity levels. But for buy side, again, there's really nothing except the all-time high, you know? So once we take out that high, then we have to kind of reevaluate, what we see. All right. So yeah, other than that, for Nvidia, something I look for is like earnings reports and things of that nature, but we don't have anything coming up soon. This is August 27th, so in about the next 2 weeks and change, we have the Nvidia earnings, which is something I'd be paying attention to. Dividends is on Monday. But I'm more focused on earnings than dividends, to be honest. This is for Apple, by the way. So I always look at Apple and Nvidia, but from what I've seen, like the earnings for Nvidia have been what has been like a low-key news event towards market close at around 4 p.m. that makes a difference on Nasdaq. So I always try to keep an eye on those earnings reports and stuff like that too. But we don't have anything for Nvidia for the next like 2 weeks and change. All right, so let's see. Yeah, but yeah, definitely I would not be focusing on bear targets for now. But at the end of the day, again, like whenever you do have a bearish bias, you're always gonna look at just all the previous lows that were made as where the market would want to go take liquidity. That's really what that tells you. All right. But yeah, guys, I think we're gonna keep it a short stream today for sure, because again, there's not really a lot of stuff to talk about. As far as like Nasdaq or anything is pretty simple. So my schedule during the week for Akashex for all of the people that are part of the program. So Mondays I do the Spanish sessions at 11 a.m. Eastern, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays we do 10 a.m. Eastern. So through there, we'll either look for live setups or basically prepare ourselves for potential setups with my signature strategy called Liberty. So it just depends how the market shapes up while we're on the session to see if opportunities present themselves or if we're going to just kind of sit on our hands and talk about some other things. But these are the sessions where we cover a lot of more like detailed information, such as like trade management, risk management, funded accounts, like all the nitty-gritty stuff that you really need to continue to advance as a trader. Again, these Sunday market outlook calls are just kind of to give us a little bit of a glimpse of direction and yeah, just kind of like a like a weather forecast type of deal, specifically for Nasdaq. So again, we kind of already got the deal, right? We're going to be looking for buys until we break these all-time highs. And then from there, I would be kind of shifting my mindset to look for sells unless you get some more information where maybe we just keep buying. But in general, I like to take out, buy side liquidity for now, which is this previous all-time high. And then from there, seeing how we react, maybe we come down and start taking some lows. All right. So that's kind of like the overall idea. All right, so make sure you guys tap in. Looking forward to catching some big trades this week because we've kind of been on a small winner slash break even streak for the last several alerts. And so, I get excited because we all know that streaks come and go. So at some point, we're gonna end up breaking through here and getting some really good risk reward trades coming up. So that's the type of vibe I'm on for the week, to keep pushing through August. And yeah, we'll see what's up with the markets, man. But I appreciate you guys for tapping in. We're gonna go ahead and cut today's market outlook right here. I will be looking to post more content on the YouTube soon. I know I haven't really been super active with content lately on here, so I'll definitely want to start cranking that back up. I'm thinking of doing like a new updated Nasdaq type of video. Because we started getting some traction on the last NAS video that I did a long time ago. And, things have kind of changed. I've kind of obviously been sticking to that asset class for all these months since I made that video. So I have picked up on some other things since then. And I would like to share that with you guys for sure on here. So be on the lookout for that, and as well as more like lifestyle vlogs and whatnot with all these events coming up. So appreciate you guys as always for tapping in. If you guys are part of the private mentorship in Akashex, I will see you guys on the sessions and on the chats. If you guys haven't gotten started, definitely take advantage this week to lock in. If you guys have any questions, you guys can always message me either through here or Instagram or Telegram at I am Rich Vendiga, and I always look to respond to you guys as quickly as possible. So, but with that said, guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will see you guys in the mentorship in the chats. All right, much love, appreciate y'all. Have a great Sunday, and as always, let's run it up, y'all.